a show we've never done before. We've done musicals, we've done improvised musicals before, we've done genre shows, we've done shows with costumes. This is the second performance of The Tale of Two Genres ever in the history of the world. So, is there anything, so was it kind of like what you expected, or not at all what you expected? Raise your hand if you're like, that was kind of what I expected. Alright. Okay. Raise your hand if you're like, that was not at all what I expected. Good! Raise your hand if you weren't expecting anything. Alright.
Well, he was expecting Pixar, yeah. He almost raised it.
So, who came here tonight because of a friend? Now, did that friend explain what the show was to you?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So who came here not because of a friend? So, how did you guys find out what this show was kind of about? Was it, yep?
We came here because of Scott.
Awesome.
We were looking for something to do. We're from out of town, and we went to the Ticks by the bay. We ran into him, and it was...
He promises.
Are you glad you came?
Yeah. And it absolutely lived up to our expectations. Wonderful.
Who else did not know?
Gold Star tickets.
Gold Star tickets. And so, you said this was kind of what you were expecting?
Yes and no, but it's in a very good way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what did you think you were getting yourself into?
I thought it would be a series of different skits.
Right.
So it will be like maybe 15 minutes each of like 10 different themes.
Right. Okay.
Because I'm very used to short improv, so
yeah.
I didn't expect long form.
A lot of people do. Yeah. Interesting.
Let's see.
Anybody else have that experience?
My sense was that it would be a different genre for each session, like the first half and then the second half.
Oh, okay. Right.
Because two genres, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to see our brains explode. Where's the second genre? There's already blood leaking out my ears.
The two blend. Anyone else have a similar experience to these two experiences? What did you think of the final version compared to what you originally? Would you rather seen what you were originally thinking, or did you like what it was?
It would have been interesting to see it done in a different, like to switch off into something completely different. I've seen that done in improv shows where they keep switching genres through the program. But yeah, this helped build to a really good ending, you know. So it was good in the way that it happened. It's just I've seen it the other way too.
Yeah. So this is the first show that we've ever done with a narrator, because having written my thesis on Oliver Twist adapted film, it's hard, you know, it's like adapting something is difficult because it's like there's the story and then there's the way the story is told. So the way I thought, oh, well, the way to best duplicate having a narrator is to have a narrator. So was there anything like in the structure or anything that was felt confusing or that you would have liked to see different or anything else? Yeah.
I enjoyed how the narrators changed.
Yeah.
And they would like start talking to each other and then move and then maybe repeat the same sentence or something afterwards. I really liked that. It was very smooth.
It's called Someone Come Out and Bail Me Out of the Narration. Another God! Thank you!
No. Yes?
Yeah.
It's very well.
I actually have a question. I'm
Yes.
curious, what sort of things did you specifically work on as a group, as team building exercises for this genre, for this specific show?
Well, you're an improviser. I know we worked together before.
Yes.
So this is the narration for this show was very difficult for us as improvisers because there's a lot of beginning improv games with narration in it. So most of us as narrators have played, most of us as improvisers have played games with narration in them. And they're very different from the way the narrator works here.
It felt slightly typewriter-esque.
Yeah, very much so.
Really awesome.
But it was, the way most narration games kind of work is you're explaining what's happening in the scene. And in this, you're talking and they're doing something else. And they're sort of separated, and it feels very much like the way an actual narrator would work inside a book or a movie or something. And we really had to let go of a lot of the habits that we had as improvisers to sort of not say, he picks up the spoon and eats porridge. You know.
I have to say too, the narration really made it Dickens. I mean, it brought the genre out when you started the narration. It was like, oh yeah, it's just like reading David Copperfield or something like that. You know? So I thought it was a great choice. Good to see all of the different narrators interchange.
It was a very difficult skill to learn and very much fun now that we know it. So.
Yes. My only comment would be more singing.
We're dancing.
Mine!
Tonight's show had less singing in it than they usually do. It just happens sometimes. But yeah, so
go back and see another show later in the run.
But that's a very good comment. Show of hands who want to see more singing tonight. Who thought the amount of singing was right on money? Okay. There we go. Okay.
It was like too much singing. I will say there's so much going on in this, and when you're backstage, you're like really trying. You have to clock not only what the narrator is saying, but what the people on stage are saying and doing. So you're like the part of your brain that would normally go, there should be a song right about now, is busy going, what the hell was his name, and where are they, and what did the narrator say? I don't know. That's my
where's my costume?
I think I wore a hat last time I was a werewolf, but I'm not sure.
What did you write down backstage?
What we wrote down on this was
Initially, I wrote down all the suggestions that you gave for possible inputs. And then I erased all those when it came down to Twilight. And then I was going to discuss with you whether or not we wanted to keep those, because this is the first time I've ever written stuff down. So.
But yes, basically we had the
and
names
then,
there.
Yeah, and then I did write down sort of what you guys thought about Twilight, like dangerous love. I wrote that down. And
say the secret ring, the werewolf comes down.
And I wrote PG and put a box around it, like it was the actual PG thing. and then we wrote down people's names as they went along. So we wrote like modesty and cudgel thrust.
This is a new kind of setup for us. Oftentimes we have these big wings that go along the sides of the stage with fabric that we can see through, and we wanted something more theatrical for this set. So as a result, the whiteboard is harder to get to than normal, and so we write down a lot less than we would in a normal show.
Were the people entering generally taking their own initiative or responding to the narration? It seemed like it was pretty well balanced in terms of everybody being involved.
Well, speaking as the guy smoking opium apparently in the middle of the forest, I was taking my own initiative. I just put that out there.
But you do want to leave.
Master thespian.
No one to leave. The narration was responding to the actors, and the actors responding to the
Well, oftentimes it's fun to sort of ignore each other a little bit, and then let the narrator justify what's actually going on.
Smoking opium in the middle of the forest. Because that's where you want. Yeah.
Well, first, you guys just have to know how amazing it was. I mean, you all were really just brilliant. Just brilliant strokes. About the piano, I mean, that's a whole nother element that you're having to kind of listen for and respond to, and just how you were able to like subtly, it seemed like sometimes you were pushing for something and sometimes you were responding too. I noticed just because sometimes there's so much stimulation to be hard for me, there were times that I just wanted to hear lines and not the music, and I didn't know if that's part of the scene, is that you always have the music going, or?
We're still trying to work that out.
So this is only the second performance.
Because sometimes the musicians try to be helpful and be like, you guys haven't sung for like 3 scenes, so it's time to get you into a song. But no matter how much I do,
one of the things that we've worked on with Jacob is if he. What?
I'll forget his name.
Oh no, I forgot Jacob's name in the last show. It was very embarrassing.
Right.
If he starts to play a song and we're not going to sing, to turn it into not just stop and make it a mistake, but just to keep going. And sometimes it lends itself to like, oh, that music isn't playing. So it's good to know. We'll definitely write that down. We got 3 people on the row. Middle.
Middle, go for it. I'm just curious what you guys talk about during the intermission. Like how much goes into talking about the second act.
So what the hell was my name again?
So we went over names.
We have me and Alan were in the audience taking notes because we always have somebody in the audience taking notes, and basically we go back and go, "This is what happened. This is your name."
And the other thing we did today, which sometimes we don't normally do, is we went over the suggestion again, because you guys give a lot of really detailed suggestion, and so they were reminding us of what you guys had said about Twilight, the genre.
And how many people in the cast have actually read a Twilight book or seen a Twilight movie? So, one person actually knew what the hell Twilight was. So
that's why we asked you.
Well, somebody made a comment about the sparkly vampires.
That's because at the half somebody said, "In Twilight they sparkle in the sunlight." I didn't know that. Okay.
Back row?
Oh yeah, I was wondering, for the songs, you guys have a standard battery of like chord progression?
No, in fact, if we can start anticipating what the musician is going to play next, it doesn't work at all. So we really need, the musicians are always trying to stay one step ahead of us as improvisers so that we don't know what they're going to be playing. Because as soon as we do know that, then it becomes sketch comedy. And we really try to be doing something that we think we're doing for the first time every single night. So.
I will say that a lot of our actors, though, do understand how songs work and, and how to, like, and we both feel that there's going to be a big, holding a big note here for a long time. We both kind of feel that part of the song is coming up. So, we've been knowing music
songs for a while.
Is there a reason you guys choose such difficult names like
Because Dickens did.
Yeah, because Dickens did.
I don't read Dickens that much.
Yeah.
Cudgel Thwacknog and listen.
So the suggested genre tonight of Twilight fit very nicely into the time period of Dickens.
Yeah.
What will you do if you get, for example, sci-fi?
What
trumps? I mean,
So Dickens trumps everything.
Okay.
So it will always. We actually have talked about this a little. If we get 500 BC or if we get 5000 BC, it'll all take place in Dickens. Sorry.
It'll all be before Christ.
Charles Dickens would have written it. So it will not exist in the future or the past.
And there were people contemporaneous to Dickens who were writing science fiction. Jules Verne. There's usually an antecedent that you can find.
So we will always
it's over enough big words, the play's over.
So yes, I feel like if people.
One more.
Well, I was just going to say, I think the costumes helped with the characters, I would think. I mean, how did it feel for you?
Oh, that's another thing. Like, we didn't change costumes very much, but we did a little bit. Was that enough for you to realize that we were playing different people?
Oh, yeah. And the werewolves were great.
Yeah.
But how did it feel for you? As I assume that when you do other improv shows, you don't always have these costumes.
The other costume show we do is a Shakespeare show, and that actually we've just started dealing with the costumes. In the previous shows we've done with costumes, we started the costumes a lot sooner in the run.
Well, in the previous show, it's all about the costumes and like this equals this character. So for this show, I was like, we have costumes, and it helps the look and whatever it's a slightly different move.
So as the run goes on, we're going to get better and better at using the costumes. We have a lot of stuff back there which we didn't use tonight.
But it does help set the atmosphere and the period.
I'll say as an actor, I mean, an improviser, it helps me ground in the period to be wearing something a little more restrictive, vest, or pocket watch, to have the whole, to know that I'm in this. So
it helps me appreciate the right to wear jeans.
One thing it does, though, is a little different from the Shakespeare show. If you ever have a chance to see that, it's a great show. This is something else to watch. But it's a little harder for us to play against gender.
Very. Yeah.
I was dressed as a girl there for one scene, and then you guys didn't see it, so I didn't get in.
It's a little harder to.
Yeah.
I got bike shorts on.
Tell her it was a lady werewolf.